Selling by a home, how's that work? Find out how on this video today. So first of all, let me get this out of the way. If you like this content, please make sure you remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, depending on what platform you're on. And now that we got all that away, we'll get right into it. So a lot of times I'm meeting with sellers and they want to buy a house, but they also need to sell a house. And I have a question on how does that whole process take place. And I got 4 ways you can do that. It's not all the ways, but I got 4 ways that we typically discuss with people. And the first one, which honestly is probably the best one if you're capable, is to do what's called a bridge loan or a jumbo loan. Talk to whoever your lender is and your financier to see if you qualify for that. You have to make a pretty considerable amount of debt to income, have a pretty high credit score, have a lot of cash from the sale of your house to go to the next one, and a lot of that. But it's really for people who have owned the house for a while, who make considerable amount of income that can qualify for that kind of thing. So make sure you talk to your lender and see if that's something that you are capable of. Now, the other thing that goes with that bridge loan too, though, is there are a little bit higher costs to something like that that go with it all, with as far as your origination fees, not necessarily your interest rate, but there's also, you have to take into account that you're going to be servicing a bigger loan for a short amount of time, like maybe a month or 2, depending on how much time you need in order to move and buy the next house. Because essentially what this allows you to do is to buy the next house without your offer having to be contingent and without having to sell your house. You essentially can buy the next house, close on it, move into it completely, have that convenience of time and not as much stress to move your entire house into the next house that you buy, vacate your current house, so that way you're selling your house vacant. So you're probably seeing a lot of houses that are on the market that are nicer and higher end and they're completely vacant, and you're asking yourself, like, how are people doing this? How is this house completely vacant? That's one way they're doing it, is through a bridge loan or a jumbo loan, where they vacate the house and sell it vacant so that they're not inconvenienced by a bunch of people coming through the house. They don't have to be stressed out about moving their house, in the middle of that transaction going on, selling their house and also move the next one. They can just buy the next one, move into it all, and then when it takes, a month or 2 to sell their last house, it's vacant, they're not there, and they can effectively move on better. But that's only if you can get a bridge loan and a jumbo loan. So talk to your lender, see if that's an option for you. That honestly is the best option, but it's not necessarily available to everyone. The second option we have is what we call is a sale leaseback. And what you do on this is essentially you sell your house, come to an agreement on a price for the house, terms of everything, just like as if you were going to sell the house and move to another one. But instead of moving out of the house at closing, you would then rent it to the new owners. So let's say you put a contract on your house for $145,000, and there was a sale leaseback agreement saying that they would agree to lease the property back to the people that currently live in it that still need to find a house for a month, 2 months, 3 months in order to help them find the next house for either free, like we're seeing in some situations, or an agreed upon rental amount for that month. That way it gives the seller a short-term rental solution for like a month or 2 months or 3 months to find the next house and to be able to offer on the next house non-contingent. Because the big piece of all this that we're trying to avoid is a contingent offer. Contingent offers aren't as favorable and don't get as accepted as well in this competitive market. And so the more we can do to avoid the contingent offer, the better offer we are to get the next house in order to be able to sell the house that you currently are in. And as probably most of you know, it starts with buying the next house and moving to the next house before you can sell the current one, or even want to or need to, type of situation. So what you do is you sell the house, close on it, then you have a non-contingent offer you can submit. You also have a large sum of cash that you just received from selling your house, because when you fully close that thing, it's in the other people's name. They close it out. You receive a large lump sum, whatever your equity was, that's sitting in your bank. And so when you go to offer on the next house, you can offer a lot stronger offer because you have a considerable amount of cash behind that offer and it's non-contingent. and you're in a situation where, like, you know, I need to move out of this house in the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever your rental period was that you guys agreed on. So that's option number 2, which is called a sale leaseback. Number 3 is probably not as desirable for most people. I see this happen a lot in new builds, but I can see it happen in the retail situation too, where basically you just sell the house and you rent temporarily elsewhere. So maybe that's where you sell the house and live with a family member temporarily for a little bit, or you live in an extended stay temporarily. I think around like Wichita, they're like, I think $50 a day. Is that right? Yeah, $50 a day. And so it comes out to about $1,500 a month, depending on, you know, the month. So that's kind of what you can expect, but it's, you know, extended stay is kind of a hotel room situation. So there's that to take into account. There aren't a lot of short-term rental situations in Wichita. There's extended stay, and there might be like some friends or family you can, you know, work out a deal with them and one of their rental properties type of situation. There usually is not a lot of short-term rental situations, but that is a third option where you can sell and rent temporarily. I know there are some apartments out west near Maize and some other apartment complexes that will do like a 6-month term type of thing, and then month to month after that. So, you know, that's an option too, that you could rent in some of those, you know, 6-month lease type of situations. And they're like 2-bed, 2-bath type of setups. You know, they're decently sized. They're obviously not a house, but this is a short-term situation, whether you're doing that to buy the next house and find the next retail house, or if you're building a house. I see a lot of people take up this option when building a house because the builder wants you to have a pre-qual letter that the condition is to not have to sell their house. So their house has to be sold. They have to rent temporarily while their house is getting built. We see that happen pretty often, to be honest with you. And number 4 is probably the least favorable, but the one that we see the most, that a lot of people try to pull off. Not saying it can't be pulled off, but it's very difficult to pull off in this market right now, is contingent offers. And so basically what we'll do is we'll come out and look at your house. You'll get your home sale ready. We'll have all of our listing agreements ready. We'll have our marketing agreements ready, all of our staff and all of our plans ready to launch. And then, so that way when we do find the right house, we put a contingent offer on the house, but it has to be the seller accepts that contingent offer. And what a contingent offer says is that here's all the terms of our offer, but the offer is contingent on us listing and selling our home on or before a certain date. And usually that date is set out like 60 days from the time of the contract. So that way it gives you about 30 days to list and sell the home. And in this market, when you price it well and do it right, it should sell that quick. But we've seen a lot less sellers, if they don't have to, not accept a contingent offer. So that's where we really want to get creative and competitive in this environment, to not have to do a contingent offer situation. But if we do have to do a contingent offer situation, you know, that's what we need to prepare for, is that we need to get your home sale ready. We need to have a meeting ahead of time about listing and marketing your house. And no, you can't wait until the right house comes up for you to instigate all this. We need to get together ahead of time. Like, I don't know if you can see the list, but all of these sellers here that are in that boat right there, where it's like, we know we want to sell our house, but we need to find the next house. But I've already had what we call a pre-listing appointment with them, where we get everything ready to where they could go, hey, we found the house, we got the house, let's put this house on the market. Or they decide to do one of those 3 options I was telling you about before, with a sale leaseback, sell and rent temporarily, or a bridge loan. So that's how you sell and buy a home. Well, at least that's 4 ways you do it. That's not every single way you do it, but those are 4 of the common conversations we're having with people about how to sell and buy a home at the same time. Hopefully it helps you understand a little bit more how all this stuff works. Again, if you like this content, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that fun stuff. Appreciate you watching as always, and you can always reach out to us or go to our website, sign up, and get started from there. Talk to you later.